Hi, welcome to Roadmap Gadget, and I'm going to show you how to hang the Samsung Frame TV onto a wall, in this case a stud wall. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so you'll open up, and I'm not doing an opening, open up the frame from the top here, and actually when you open up the box at the top, do have someone help you because you don't want it to obviously fall. You can take the TV out, however, if you don't want to, you can reach everything that you need from the top. So you'll find this bag here, and what that's got in it is that's got the brackets that go onto the wall, and most importantly, and don't lose this, this is the template that goes up onto the wall where you mark it. So let me just show you before we get into it what you'll need. You're going to need a tape measure, and that's for actually measuring where you want the TV to go. You'll need a spirit level to make sure that the template is straight. You'll need some fixtures, some fixings. It does come with some of those, however for mine, and I have got another video, this is a stud wall, so I need some of these spring toggles. And the other thing that you'll need is obviously a drill to make sure that you can drill the little bits in, and most importantly, builder's pencil to mark up where it goes. So what you want to be doing is, once you've got all of that stuff out, like I said, you don't have to get the TV out. You want to make sure that the wall that you are drilling into, that you're happy that there's no plumbing, no electrical, and then ideally it would be brick or it would be wood that you're screwing into. As I said, with stud, I'm using the toggles, but if you're screwing in everywhere, please seek professional advice if you're not sure. The way you can potentially check is if the wall that you're drilling into has got a radiator or a plug or a light switch, then you know that there's power somewhere within that wall. Do be careful. The other thing as well, and I've got this issue, is that if it is a stud wall, obviously if you're drilling in, just make sure that anything on the other side, because what I'm going to be doing is the connect box, which is the box that the TV plugs into, I'm going to be putting that on the other side of this wall, plugging that in and putting the lead through the wall. Okay, so first things first, you want to get your template. Okay, and with this template, if you're having the TV, which probably most of you are, in a horizontal orientation, then this template here marks where the top of the TV is going to sit by these arrows here. If, however, you're going to have it in a portrait mode, then the top of the TV is going to sit where these arrow bits are here. Okay. So the first things first, the most important thing is you obviously probably want the TV central. So roughly wherever the TV is, and this is why using a pencil is a good idea, not a pen, so it doesn't permanently mark the wall. You want to be measuring where the centre line is. Okay, I'll do that and I'll come back to you. Okay, so this is the template which they give you. What I would recommend is they do give you some tape, but I would use some masking tape. There's some links down at the bottom. The reason is they'll peel off without pulling off any paint. First things first, what you want to do is to put this template up is you want to measure this centre line, which nicely is where the fold is. So if you're putting it central to the wall, obviously measure the whole distance, half that, put that in the middle. Then what I would do is put that up, and using your spirit level, you can then put that against that top line there and make sure, which mine is, it's obviously straight or level. Now, these here are the holes that you're going to be drilling. So like I said before, you need to ensure that whatever you're drilling into, that you're happy that there's nothing behind there. The other thing as well is setting the height of it. Now this is obviously down to personal preference. The height is indicated on these corners here. So what you find is that when you put this in place, that's where you want to just stick it up on the wall, maybe step back, because the TV is going to go down from there. Now, the height of this TV, the 32 inch, is roughly about 450 mil. So it's going to be coming down to that level. If you're unsure, measurements are in the instructions so that you don't put it too low and it's not clashing with anything like a sideboard or a radiator or even the floor. So this is where basically you're going to be drilling into. So they do give you the fixtures. Thing to do, I would say, is leave the template on and drill through it. So I'll do that on this one just so you can see. what that means is if you do it with a real fine drill, even if you just mark the wall, you know exactly where you're going to be mounting now, and you don't necessarily need this template anymore because they're the only 4 holes that you need when you put up these mounting brackets. Okay, that's the right actually, so be careful, there's an R and an L. So that's where these go, and then the TV hooks onto them. Okay, so what I'll do is I have got another video showing you how to put into a stud wall. If you want to see that, then the link is here at the top. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put these on the wall where I want them now, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've taken the template down. If there are any marks on the wall down from here, like I've got a few little marks here, that's fine. If there are any marks at the top, so I've been marking at the top where the centre line, you do want to remove them because actually these mounting brackets do sit quite high on the TV. So what I would do is just be really careful. Hopefully you've, like I said, used a very fine pencil. You can just rub those out. The other thing as well is if you have taken the template down and you've pulled the masking tape and it has damaged, before you even get to it, you can touch it up because once you put the TV up, obviously you can't then later on touch the TV up. So let me put these mounting brackets on and then we'll think about the connect box and the power. Hi, so I'm going to show you just quickly. So when you've got the bracket in this kind of place, and before you screw it up, what you want to do with the first bracket is there is a bit of give you can see in the brackets here. So when you screw it into the wall, just get your spirit level out and just make sure that that edge there is flat. Okay, so once you've got this one flat, then you can mark off it to make sure that the next one's flat when you put it in. Okay. Hi, yeah, so the key is, if I show you, so I've screwed one in tight and I've left one loose. What that means is you can then move this. I'll show you, hold on, if I bring it up here, I can then move that up and down like that. Okay, so it means that I can then check that that line there is level before I screw this one in. Okay? Yeah, so just to prove that point, so here's the spirit level that I'm going to put on. If that is now level, so while I'm holding that, I'm going to just do this nut up here. There you go. That's tight now. Okay, so that bracket, the first one I've put on, is now level at the top edge. Okay, now what I can do is to help me is get my pencil out here. That line there, just mark a very faint line over above the holes that you've already drilled. So that tells you where the line of the next bracket needs to come. Okay. So here you go, so you put the first bracket in and that's obviously tight and you've checked that that's level. Now you get into the second bracket, this is loose still, but you can see I've got that line there on the top, which really helps me. So because this is hidden, you don't have to worry about rubbing it off. You can just make sure that it's straight to that line before you tighten in the 2 brackets. Okay, so once we put the brackets in, then we start looking at putting the TV on the wall. Okay, so brackets are on, obviously make sure they're tight and you're happy. This is where the TV is going to go on. Now, before you put the television up, the thing I think about is where you want the one connect box. So obviously with the frame, the idea is once it goes on, it's flush to the wall and it looks like a picture frame. Now, if you want to put the one connect box outside, you've probably got 2 options. First option is that if you're going into a room on the opposite side, then you're drilling through the wall like I am and going into the other side. If, however, you're not doing that, then you're probably going to be channeling in this wire here. Now, interestingly, on the 32 inch, it's actually quite a thick wire compared to the 65 inch. You can buy another lead, which is a very finer lead than this. This is probably about 4 mil. You can go down to like a 1.5 mil. And what you want to do is look onto the back of the TV where the connect goes in. And depending on your situation, obviously it's very different. You want to then channel down and then polyfiller over. I'm, however, going to be drilling through the wall so that I put the electric and this plug through to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to do that because that's unique to me, and then I'll show you how to hang the TV. Okay, thanks. Oh. Okay, so one thing to be aware of is that when you connect the cable the one connect cable here. This is the back of the TV, and as you look at the back, the one connect goes into the left-hand side, which is the right-hand side as you're looking at the front of the TV, okay? So where you've put that right bracket, which roughly sits about here, the one connect lead plugs in just below it. So what you want to roughly work out, and it is rough, where the one connect comes down if you want to start channeling in. Now you can do one of two things. You can either put the TV on the wall and then look where the cable hangs down and then do that, or you can just judge it by eye. I need to drill a hole into the back of the TV, so what I'm going to be doing is measuring it roughly where it goes. So this is where roughly the bracket is there, so I'm going to be roughly about 250 mil, something like that, below that bracket. Now I'm going to put it below that bolt hole there. Okay, so that means that I'm going to put it below there. Okay? So just to be clear, this is the back of the TV here. On the left-hand side back of the TV, if you're hanging it horizontally, that screw hole there, it's below that screw hole there on the left. So that's where I'm going to be drilling my hole. Okay, so if you are doing what I'm doing, then you're going to need a large hole like this for the cable to go through, and then for me the cable comes out the other side. So it was a 35mm drill bit. I used one of these, and again I'll give you the link to this. I'm just going through plasterboard, so it's fairly easy. If you're going through brick, then you might need something a bit masonry drill wise, but 35mm is what you need. The reason for that is because of the plug on the end. Okay, and now what you're doing is going to the TV and you're putting, see these screw holes here and these here, you're putting these into the central 2 points in there, and what they do, if I show you, is that they slide in there and then they'll slide down there, and this TV will sit in there like that. Okay, so let me show you. So just to show you, this is where they go in there, and you don't want to really tighten these up with a drill or anything, or anything these up with a power tool or a drill or anything, just do them by hand. Okay, so they're nice and tight. You can remove this sticker off the back, and now the big one, you're ready to plug the TV onto the wall. So first things first, take the cable, because once you plug the cable in, once you put it on the wall, you're not going to get to it again. If you've got an antenna or aerial, then you'll need to plug that in as well. So plug the cable in and then you're ready to put it up on the wall. Okay, so what you're doing now is you're taking the TV out of its box and you've plugged the cable in.
Go.
So what you're doing now is you're sliding the TV onto the wall. If you can pull the cable through, right? Keep pulling that cable through, keep pulling that cable through, stop there. Right, so now you're trying to look to see where those are. So that is by far the scariest bit. So because it's so flat to the wall, when you're putting the screws in, the only thing I can say is that you might need a spotter to help you looking down behind the TV. So what you're doing is you're putting it in and then sliding it down. Hold this TV while you're doing it. Make sure you don't let go of it until you're absolutely sure that it's onto the brackets. And there you go. You've mounted your frame TV. Now you plug it in on the Connect box. I have got another review where I reviewed a 32-inch and the 65-inch that I've got, the frame. So yeah, I hope that's helped. Please do like, please subscribe. Any questions, please do ask, and thanks for watching.